What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and at this point, I think it's safe to say that this Ezra Miller situation has gone beyond out of control. In fact, this situation is in a whole nother stratosphere because it was allowed to go unchecked for so long. In fact, we're going to have to create a new term just to describe this situation because honestly, I can't find the words in the English language to describe what's really going on here. But as we all know, Ezra Miller has assaulted multiple women on various different continents across the world. Ezra Miller has been arrested numerous times. Ezra Miller has allegedly groomed multiple 12-year-old children. And as of today, we now know that 3 young kids' lives are in danger because they are staying with Ezra Miller. All of these kids are under the age of 5. One of these kids allegedly was found walking around with a bullet in their mouth, and they're surrounded by firearms. Even their little corner that's filled with teddy bears has assault rifles propping the teddy bears up because Ezra is preparing himself and his little cult for a war with some unknown enemies. Let's just call it that, although we know who the enemies supposedly are. But you see, a lot of people think this Ezra Miller situation just popped up overnight. That all of this stuff just started happening out of nowhere, when in reality, that's not the case. Ezra Miller has been going on this rampage for a few years now. You know, this situation didn't just start. In fact, one of the kids that he's accused of grooming, he's been grooming since they were 12 and they're now 18. So that right there shows you that this, behavior has been going on for at least 6 years. But yeah, this situation didn't just spark up overnight. There's been plenty of examples of Ezra Miller doing totally crazy things over the years, but people ignored it. And back in, I think, 2020, a video started making the rounds on the internet of Ezra Miller choking out this random woman. And that video went viral. Everyone talked about it. At that time, everyone thought that Ezra Miller was going to lose his job as the Flash, and he was going to be removed from all of these movies. However, nothing happened. It was allowed to go unchecked. And this was after there was already allegations about Ezra Miller, being a hurtful person and biting people and doing all type of weird stuff. But around the time that this video went viral of him choking out this woman, there was another video that it didn't go viral, but there was another video that surfaced of Ezra at the time displaying some really questionable behavior. And I'll admit, I almost forgot that this video existed, but thanks to one of my subscribers, I won't say your name, I'll just call you Night Owl. They sent this clip over and it reminded me that this whole situation happened. And in this video, it is one of the most disturbing things that you'll probably see today or anytime in the near future. And the reason that this video didn't go as viral as the other video, I'll explain that reason soon. But before I even provide any more information, I just want you all to watch this video so you could formulate your own thoughts and opinions without me muddying the waters, and you could come to your own conclusion about what you believe you're watching in front of your own eyes. So let's watch this clip and then I'll be right back.
It will burn. It's super simple. It's been said to you a billion times, not 7 times, not deep, we man. Say we're the last prophet every time we come. Yahweh, we are the living. You are done. Burn, fish fry, baby. This shit is delicious. You ever been to Rwanda? No. Because I have, and it's funny because people talk about like safety or security as if they understand that form of martial art. That you know how to be safe. Like you think you're safe in the first world with your virus panic attacks and your terrorist threats. Like you think you're safe anywhere on the land that is my mother's land. Or in the sky. Go to outer space, motherfucker. That's the easiest shit. I sent a bullet in outer space 500 billion years ago to ride a gravitational wave just to destroy your spaceship. That's how I do shit. The Flash, motherfucker. It's timeless. It's Hermes, Trismegistus, thrice blessed. And you're stressed now because you're watching a video some cat took in a car in Rwanda. Ponder that shit. Haile Selassie, Sarasi 3.
Right. Wow.
Yeshua HaMashiach, like my older brother who will come after me. As he always does, bro. This is comedy. I'm laughing in your face. I'm sparking with every race. You think I'm racist? Paste this. Sexism, the belief in sex. Yeah, sex is real. You like sex appeal? Racism, the belief in race. Like race is real. You see skin and you think that shit defines who I am? Who he is? Who we are? To you? Motherfucker, your shit is askewed. Aryan race, that means Iranian. You just killed generals of a holy order. Ponder him.
Obviously, that was totally insane, very disturbing, very uncomfortable. And the reason that it didn't go as viral, the reason that a lot of people didn't pick up on it, is because supposedly this was supposed to be a clip from a movie. Supposedly, what you just watched was from this movie that was supposed to be coming out. Now, this movie never came out. And I'll break down in just a moment why I believe this was never from a movie to begin with. This was a clip of an unhinged Ezra going on this cult-like rant, speaking in tongues at some point, just going absolutely insane and off the wall. But when this clip made its way online, this random Twitter account popped up and claimed that this was just a part of an experimental film. This is the Twitter account I'm talking about. And he replies, "Hey, this is part of an experimental film we're doing in Rwanda, which plays a different character, in which Ezra plays a different character of himself." So, before this clip that we just watched could really get out there and become, viral and people really talked about it, this person tried to shut it down. Like, hey, you know what? This is taken out of context. This is just a little clip from a movie that we're filming. This isn't evidence of Ezra going crazy or being crazy. It's none of that. It's not what you think. At the time, people believed it. At the time, we had no reason not to believe it. We didn't know everything that we know now today. Had we have known what we know today, we would have, or at least I would have called this out really quickly. But at the time, Ezra was getting plenty of work in Hollywood. We didn't know that Ezra was grooming little kids and displaying all of this cult-like behavior. We didn't know all of that at the time. We knew that Ezra Miller was being problematic. He had assaulted a couple of women. We knew that. But we didn't know how bad it was. So at the time, a lot of people just believed it. Okay, this is Ezra from a clip of this movie that we don't know about. There's nothing to see here. Let's move on to something else. Well, I just did some digging. And it turns out this account that popped up claiming that they were a director, it's not real. It's not a real account. This account popped up. Now, when this clip that we just watched popped up, this account was made that same day. The same day that the clip in question was released online back in 2020. Let me see if I can get the exact date it was released. 6/12/2020. So this account that claims to be the director of this movie popped up at the same exact time. And in fact, the only tweets on this person's account are tweets about him being the filmmaker for Ezra Miller. So what I'm getting at here is that this Twitter account was created for the sole purpose of basically just trying to cover up what this clip really was. This person hasn't tweeted after this. This person didn't really tweet before this. This Twitter account was created just to try to squash anyone who was spreading this little clip around or talking about this clip. And they said that they were working on this movie called Neptune Frost. Now, Neptune Frost is a real movie. It's a real movie from Rwanda, and we'll get into more of that in just a moment. But as we look through this guy's Twitter profile, you all can go look at it right now. There's nothing to hide here. You could go all do your own little research. This guy never talked about anything on Twitter, never really posted on Twitter, never posted on Twitter after that. There was never an update about this movie they were so-called creating. This person isn't even the real director of Neptune Frost, the movie they claimed they were directing. So all of this is fake. Which leads me to believe that this clip we just watched, it's not a clip of Ezra Miller from a movie at all. This is just an unhinged clip of Ezra Miller going absolutely insane and showing you how he actually acts. This is who Ezra Miller really is. Now, the Neptune Frost movie, it's a real movie. It just recently came out. Ezra Miller is attached to that film as a producer. I can confirm that Ezra Miller is not in this movie. Ezra Miller doesn't have a scene in this movie. Often, people get a producer title for no reason. If you're an upcoming Hollywood director or a director anywhere in the world, you'll often, try to get someone famous to be labeled as the producer on your movie, even though they don't work on the movie at all. A lot of times the title of producer is just a way for the big wigs in Hollywood to get richer without doing anything. Think about people like, trying to think of someone who does this often, Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg has been labeled as the producer on tons of movies that he had nothing at all to do with. But because he's a big name, he'll lend his name to smaller movies, to smaller film directors, to try to get more marketing on their film, to try to get more eyes on their film, if you will. So the label of producer, often it means nothing. And Ezra Miller wasn't the only producer on this film. Ezra Miller is also not labeled as part of the cast, and I can confirm from reviews that Ezra Miller was not in the movie. So, not only did they lie about this being a clip from Neptune Frost, it's not a clip from Neptune Frost. I believe this is just Ezra Miller going on an unhinged, cult-like rant for the world to see, and they were able to cover it up in 2020 because we did not know what we know now. All it would have taken is a little bit of due diligence for people to realize back then that they were being lied to, that this isn't a clip from Ezra's movie, that this is really just a video of Ezra. But like I said, back then we had no clue what was going on. People that were seeing this tweet, they had no idea what was going on back then. But I could basically tell you for almost a 100% fact, this little Twitter account that started spreading the information that this was just a clip of Ezra Miller and that they were a filmmaker making a movie with Ezra Miller, that's bogus BS. This is a fake Twitter account that was created and used for like all of one day, maybe 2 days, just to try to cover up the story and then never ever tweet it again. But we know from some of Ezra's victims' parents that Ezra likes to create multiple social media profiles in order to attack people, in order to gaslight his victims, and all types of weird stuff. So I wouldn't put it past Ezra Miller to actually be the person behind this Twitter profile that we're talking about. So never was he part of this Neptune Frost movie. He is a producer on the film, but he's not in the movie. And if you want me to be totally fair and throw people a bone here, all right, let's say this is a clip from a movie. Do you think this is a script? Do you think that someone in their right mind sat down and wrote these lines for Ezra Miller to say? I highly doubt it. If this was part of a movie, which I don't believe it is, someone with a camera just basically filmed Ezra going on a crazy rant and decided, hey, I'm going to put this in my movie because of how insanely crazy it was. And if you followed this situation, you could tell the way Ezra's talking in this video, it's exactly like the crazy, drunken, drugged out, weird rants that he goes on every time he gets arrested. You know, it's something that we've seen before. This is very much Ezra Miller being the real Ezra Miller, which is a complete psychopath nut job who thinks he is the next coming of Christ, who thinks he's a cult leader. And he talks like this all the time. He's on video talking to to people at the bar before assaulting them. This is exactly how he is. And I think this is proof that yes, Ezra Miller is not only forming a cult, is not only in a cult, but he is completely off of his rocker, speaking in tongues, talking about God knows what. And he's putting all of this stuff, all of this schizophrenic, weird, crazy, anxiety-ridden rants, he's laying it right on these little kids who have no idea how to process what they're hearing. And you got to believe that he is messing up these kids' minds pretty badly. Extremely, like to the extreme. Like I've said before, give it a couple of years. We'll be watching the surviving Ezra Miller story on Lifetime. Give it a couple of years. And honestly, in my honest opinion, this whole situation is going to go out with a bang. And I mean that literally. This whole entire situation is going to end with a bang. Unless someone nips it in the bud now. Ezra Miller has plans. Ezra Miller has some plans. Ezra Miller plans on doing some horrible things. Ezra Miller plans on using these kids to do horrible things for him. Ezra Miller is like Charles Manson 2.0. And I say that because I mean it. If you know anything about Charles Manson, then you would know that Ezra Miller is taking all of this stuff directly out of his playbook. Charles Manson convinced his followers that they were all going to be part of this big race war and that he was going to come out on top and he was going to be the leader of the new nation. Ezra Miller's doing the same thing. Ezra Miller, much like Charles Manson, they prey on the outcast of society. They prey on young, impressionable people, people who might be at odds with their parents. It's a scary situation, but it's a situation we have seen before, somewhat. Although I would say that this situation may even be a little bit worse. It may even be a little bit worse because I feel Ezra has more money behind him, more power behind him than Charles Manson ever did. So all we can do, folks, is sit back and watch this play out. I've lended my voice. I've tried to help in any way I can. I've reached out to family members of those affected. I've done everything I can. I've put out as many warnings as possible. I've dug into this story pretty deeply. And I just don't think there's going to be a good ending here. I think it's going to end how a lot of cults end. Let's just put it like that. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Was this proof that Ezra Miller is this weird, almost possessed, cult-like, sick individual? Or was this a movie clip? If you think this is a movie clip, then I would love for you to provide what movie this came from. I'm a movie buff. I've never seen this. So, if this is a movie, let us know what movie it's from down below. While you're down there, though, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. If you agree with anything I said here today, you could drop a super thanks down below to support the channel. But as always, I'll talk to you all on the next video.